Direct quotes of 40 or more words are block indented, 5 spaces. I will omit the quotation marks, and I'm going to place the source information after the final punctuation mark. Okay. So those are some of the key things that we're going to start with. My essay for APA actually begins on page 3. And notice on page 3, again, I do not have the term running head. I do have page 3 up here, but then I repeat the full title of my essay on page 3. It is on the 1-inch line on page 3. The full title of my essay is on page 3 on the 1-inch line. I will then take and start my essay. I will indent my paragraphs 5 spaces. Make sure that I have double spacing turned on. Everything in APA is double spaced. Everything in APA is double spaced. When I'm finished with my paper, I will have a reference page, and that's what usually trips up most students. A reference page. What do I do with this dumb thing? The reference page, again, I do not have the running head term, but I do have a running head, and I have the page number that is consecutive to my essay. So if my essay ends on page 5, my references begin on page 6. Do not start a reference page at the bottom of any page. It must always be at the top of a new page. So that term references must always be on the 1-inch line of a new page. My references are listed in alphabetical order, not the order that I used them in. They're listed in alphabetical order by the author's last name. I will not at any time re-alphabetize authors. So on this sample, I have a Jonas, a Deal, and a Bromer. They obviously are not in alphabetical order with those 3 authors. But I cannot and do not have the right to reorder their names. The authors have selected when they wrote this piece and published it, which one will have his or her name first. And we cannot remake that decision at any time. Okay? So we get some different samples up there on that particular one. So let's take a look at some particular in-text samples, or what it would be sometimes called parenthetical samples. If I have about Anthony Hunt, 1999, has another view. I've translated some from what Anthony Hunt said. I've reported something that someone else has said, and now I'm saying that Anthony Hunt has another view. Notice that what I gave immediately after the author's name is the year of publication, in parentheses. Chan, 2000, claims that Eagleton has belittled the gains of postmodernism in paragraph 41. There will be some sources periodically that have paragraph numbers opposed to page numbers that I will use. And so I must take and translate that into my parenthetical. The 9 grades of Mandarins were distinguished by the color of the button in the hats of the office. Notice here that I have Mandarin in quotation marks, the comma before the end quotation mark, and then the 1994 for my citation. It's comma first, then I close my quotation mark, and then I put the year. Okay? Make sure the comma is before or inside the end quotation mark. Now, when I'm looking at what I would have in my reference page that corresponds to those 3, I would have this. I would start out with Chan, because he obviously is the first one, alphabetical. Notice that I only put the author's first initial. If I have a middle initial, I will give it. But if I don't worry about it. Then I put the year of publication. If I have more than just the year of publication, I will give that. But for this source, I have year only. Then in upper lowercase, in both, I will have the title. Notice that my title of my article, no quotation marks. No quotation marks. I will capitalize first word, proper nouns, and that's it. First word, proper nouns will be capitalized in this title. Once I have my title, I'm going to put in italics the publication name, like the magazine or journal name. And in this case, it's Postmodern Culture. I will follow that by a comma. I will keep my italics turned on and type the volume number. Number 10 here represents the volume number. I'm going to turn off my italics, not hit the space bar at all, and put in parentheses the issue number 3. I will follow that with a period. This was found online, so I'm going to say it's retrieved from. That phrase is very, very vital to APA with online sources. And then I provide Project Muse website, because it's just on that site, and then provide the web address.